Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So in tonight's video I'm going to be looking at the most recent results across most of the big leagues in Europe and the Americas, including the MLS, Canada, Mexico and Brazil. And in Europe, of course, I'll be looking at the English Premier League, La Liga in Spain, Serie A in Italy, Bundesliga in Germany, Ligue 1 in France, and lots of other leagues, including the Dutch, Swedish, Danish, and Turkish leagues, etc. So let's get started, and if you enjoy this video at any point, press the like button and drop a comment for me. Also, briefly, just before I get going, for sure, tune in the next week or so, because as the leagues finish, I'm going to do a little bit of a season review for each of the leagues, so keep an eye out for those videos as well. Okay, let's get going then in earnest. Also check out the videos I do for the European competitions. Obviously big finals coming up, I'll do a nice video before and after those. Okay, so this is the table at the moment. We'll look at that in more detail in a second. Let's fly through those results. So here we go. Last couple of results were as follows. Tottenham 1, Brentford 3. Then you had Bournemouth 0, Man United 1, Fulham drew with Crystal Palace 2-2. Liverpool drew with Aston Villa, who are doing great this season, and it's really scuppered their chances for the Champions League, 1-1. Wolves drew with Everton 1-1 as well, and unbelievably Nottingham Forest beat Arsenal 1-0. West Ham give a blow to Leeds United's chances of staying up with a 3-1 loss. Brighton beat already relegated Southampton 3-1, and Chelsea narrowly lost to champions-elect and actual champions Manchester City. And then the result last night, Newcastle qualified for the Champions League. I think it's maybe the first time in over 10 years, with a 0-0 draw to Leicester City. Let's take a look at how that affects the table then, shall we? So Man City champions, 88 points. Arsenal in second, no chance of catching them. Newcastle in third, and they can't be caught by Liverpool in the last game. So it's just Man United or Liverpool, just two small clubs, you know, fighting for a Champions League spot. Their budgets and their managers and lots of their players and potential transfers will rely on it, but Liverpool have the best form. They're against Southampton, and Man United have a worse form against Chelsea, so that's kind of tricky. Brighton finishing off an amazing season in sixth, but they have Man City in the last game, so they can be caught by Aston Villa, who have interesting. They have Brighton have got 2 games, so they could even afford to lose that one, and as long as they don't lose to Aston Villa, then they get Europa League football next year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I was thinking about it earlier whilst I was looking at this. So I think, and confirm in the comment section if I am right, I think Aston Villa are going to get, if they stay in 7th, obviously Tottenham are chasing, so I think 7th place is going to be Europa League and 8th is going to be Conference League, but we'll see. Brentford could still make it, but Fulham can't, and down the bottom, Southampton already gone. Leeds and Leicester on the same points, Everton just above them, so very, very interesting. Nottingham Forest now are officially safe after that win over Arsenal. Okay, let's get moving then, shall we? Next league on the list is Serie A. Let's have a look at the matches, and then we'll look at the table. Matches. Saturday, let's do Friday. Sassuolo lost at home to a very successful Monza team this season. Newly promoted this season and doing brilliantly. Cremonese lost at home to Bologna 5-1. Atalanta beat Verona 3-1. Milan beat Samp 5-1. So all the relegation candidates being lost, losing heavily there in those games. Then you had Lecce draw with Spezia 0-0. So they really would love that point. Torino drew with Fiorentina 1-1. Napoli beat Inter 3-1. Udinese lost at home to Lazio 1-0. Roma just got it back at the end thanks to Nemanja Matic, drawing with Salernitana 2-2. And the next result is incredibly important. Empoli beat Juve 4-1, just hours after they were told that after they had their 15 points reinstated, they would lose 10 points due to their dodgy transfers. This means that they have dropped down the league and pushed Roma into the European spots. This is substantial because with just 2 games left in the season, Juve are 1 point behind Roma, and they've got Milan next, who are fighting for Champions League football over Atalanta. Roma could technically make it, but they're not on great form at the moment. No win in 5. I think it might be no win in 6 or 7, actually. And they got Fiorentina next, who are a difficult ask. And yeah, so Juve, even though they've been reinstated some points, had some more taken off them, they'll probably appeal that. So we might not know at the end of the season, unless the appeal process comes quickly, who is going to qualify for Europe in Italy. Bit of a bizarre situation, but there we go. Napoli champions, of course, Lazio in 2nd now, after Juve dropped into 3rd, Milan 4th, Atalanta 5th, Roma 6th. Down the bottom, Samp are gone. Cremonese are gone with that draw from Spezia. So Hellas Verona could still stay up. Lecce is still in trouble as well, potentially, but they'll probably think with their goal difference they're okay. That is Serie A. Okay, let's just jump and go straight to the Bundesliga, because we had a bit of a big result. You know what I'm talking about. Friday, Freiburg beat Wolfsburg 2-0. Hertha Berlin drew with Bochum at the bottom of the table 1-1. Schalke drew with Eintracht Frankfurt 2-2. Hoffenheim beat Union Berlin 4-2. Werder Bremen drew with Cologne 1-1. Yes, Bayern Munich lost, and they lost at home to Champions League chasing Leipzig 3-1. Mainz lost at home to Stuttgart 4-1, big result for Stuttgart. Augsburg lost at home to Borussia Dortmund 3-0. We'll come back to why that's important in a second. Bayer Leverkusen 2-2 with Borussia Mönchengladbach after going out of the Europa League to Roma. Let's look at that. Very interesting. Are you ready? So there are only 34 games in Germany due to there being 18 teams. So last game of the season, Borussia Dortmund have Mainz. If they win it, they win the league. Bayern Munich have got Cologne. They have to win and hope that Borussia Dortmund don't in order to win the league this year. So it's stacked against Bayern Munich and it's out of their hands. All they can do is win and hope for the best. Leipzig definitely got Champions League football now with that win. Can't be caught by Freiburg. So Union Berlin or Freiburg are going to make the Champions League. Well done to both of you. Absolutely massive moments in both of their clubs. Not considered, as far as I'm concerned, as either big enough clubs to be in the Champions League. So what a colossal effort from both of them. Bayer Leverkusen are hoping to get into the Conference League spot. Wolfsburg and outside chance, but Frankfurt might make it. Down the bottom, Hertha are gone. Schalke are not gone, neither Bochum, Stuttgart, still possibly, even Augsburg. But on goal difference, I think Hoffenheim are okay. So that was a big win for them against Toppel, Berlin in 4th. Okay, let's go to Spain, because there was another big result there as well. I love this point of the season because there are always some absolutely crucial results. The results mean more than ever. Cádiz beat Valladolid 2-0. Girona lost home to Villarreal. Athletic Club beat Celta Vigo 2-1. I think it's because I didn't manage to watch it. I was working on Saturday, and every time I watch Athletic Club in the last 2 months, they haven't won. And then I saw that they won. I was like, okay, so basically I can't watch them because they'll lose. Almeria 3-0 against Mallorca. Getafe 1-0 against Elche. Barcelona lost to Champions League, chasing Real Sociedad. Vallecano lost at home to Espanyol 2-1. Atleti beat Osasuna 3-0. That's important in a second, I'll show you. Because Valencia beat Real Madrid 1-0. Absolutely massive result for them. And the Seville derby 0-0 between Betis and Sevilla. So, let's take a look at the all-important table and definitely the top four, which I think is done and dusted now. Barca already crowned champions, Atleti now in second. Madrid having a bit of a bad time out of the Champions League, 3 losses in their last 5 in the league as well. And then Real Sociedad confirmed. Oh, actually, no, they've still got 3 games to play in Spain. Interesting. So they could be caught technically, but it'll be a bit of an ask. 5 points ahead now of their rivals. Villarreal. Real Betis in 6th. Athletic Club have moved into the European spots. Hurrah! See what I mean? Look, they haven't won when I've been watching them. So I'm banned from watching them against Osasuna, I think. Girona chasing Europe, 48 points, as are Sevilla, who of course were relegation candidates at the turn of the year, so well done to them. And at the bottom, Elche are gone, but Espanyol and Valladolid are hanging on. They can catch Getafe, but I think, difficult to say, it's only 3 points. Cadiz might get drawn into it. I hope Celta Vigo do not. But Valencia, who were down here and in the relegation spot for some time, are out of it. I'm so relieved. I would not be able to comprehend Valencia not being in the top league of Spanish football. It would be a travesty. Okay, Ligue 1. Let's go to France. So there's a big chase on for Europe. In France, Lyon beat Monaco 3-1. Nantes lost home to Montpellier 3-1. Lille beat Marseille, surprisingly 2-1. Rennes hammered Ajaccio 5-0. Brest beat Clermont 2-1. Nice drew with Toulouse 0-0. Reims beat Angers 2. Or can we relegate Reims so I don't have to mispronounce them every week? Troyes drew with Strasbourg 1-1. Lorient lost home to Lens 3-1, and Paris Saint-Germain beat Auxerre away from home 2-1. So what does that mean to the table then? So remember, there's only 3 spots, one of which is a playoff place in France compared to the top 4 leagues. So Paris Saint-Germain have won the league. How many games are there? There are 20, so there are 38, so there's 2 to go, but they'd have to lose both their games, and Lens would have to score like 20 goals. So the league is theirs. Lens, however, surprising everyone by getting second spot, 5 points in with 2 games, so it's, and look at the form they're in as well, it's more or less theirs, the Champions League. Well done to them, félicitations. And Marseille look safe in the playoff spot, but you know, safe is never safe in football, is it? Especially if you look at their little shaky form at the second. Monaco themselves having a little bit of a shaky time. Lille scrambling to try and get into Europe. Rennes also doing the same. And Lyon. It's probably over for Nice and Clermont. And down the bottom, remember, 4 relegated to make the league smaller next year. Only 2 promoted. So it'll be an 18-team league next year. Nantes, shockingly, you know, they had a really good run in Europe this year, but they're down there. Auxerre can be caught, but I think Strasbourg, 6 points. Yeah, it's practically impossible now. Although they do have Paris Saint-Germain next, so if they lose 10-0, then maybe we're still on. Right then, that is France for you. Let's keep going. We're going to the Netherlands for the Eredivisie. And the last round of matches were as follows. Ajax beating Groningen. Oh, that's actually from the previous one, 3-2. Then they won again against Utrecht, 3-1. Excelsior beating Fortuna Sittard 3-0. Feyenoord unbeatable 3-1 winners against Emmen. Go Ahead Eagles beating Volendam 3-0. Lots of 3-0s. Alkmaar beating Nijmegen 3-0. Eindhoven only drawing 3-0 with Heerenveen. FC Twente beating Valvik 5-0 away from home. Ouch. Sparta Rotterdam beating Cambuur 4-1. Lots of goals this week. Vitesse beating Groningen 6-0. Ouch. So, what does that mean to the table? Very little at the top. The champions are Feyenoord. Congratulations. Gefeliciteerd. And how many games? 18, so there's one game to go. So, Eindhoven can be caught by Ajax. They're against 20, they're against AZ, so it's doable. They've got better goal difference as well. I wouldn't have thought that a couple of weeks ago. Alkmaar are also chasing for Europa League rather than the playoff spots. Down the bottom, Cambuur and Groningen gone, Emma gone as well, so they're in the playoff spot. Excelsior are safe after that important win against Fortuna Sittard. Let's look at Portugal. I know there was a massive match on the weekend. Was it Sporting and Benfica? Let's take a look at the result. Okay, so Friday, Marítimo beat Vizela 1-0. Aroca beat Chaves 1-0 too. Then Braga drew with Boavista 1-0. Porto won away to Famalicão 4-2. Vitória de Guimarães 1-0 over Gil Vicente. Casabia with Estoril 2-2 with a draw. Passos de Ferreira 3-1 beats Rio Ave. And Sporting could only draw with Benfica 2-2. Let's have a look how that affects the table then. Sporting really needed a win at this late in the stage. 33 played, so one game to go. Benfica are not champions yet with that draw. They can be caught by Porto. So they have to be really careful. They got Santa Clara next, who are bottom. And Porto have got Guimarães. Is it? Yeah, Vitória de Guimarães, who are 5th. And fighting for Europa League spot, a Conference League spot. So that is a harder game for them. Braga have already qualified for the Champions League knockout rounds. Sporting, with that draw, cannot catch them, so they are definitely in the Europa League. That is a big moment for Braga, well done. And down the bottom, Santa Clara are gone. Can anyone catch? No, they're all gone officially. Marítimo, Passos de Ferreira. Let's keep going then. Let's go to the Allsvenskan, which is not at the end of its season, of course, as they have a different season to the rest of Europe due to the weather. So Saturday, Degerfors beat AIK, who was struggling this season, 2-1. Brommapojkarna beating Varbergs 2-1. Djurgården beating Mjällby 2-0. Then Malmö and Häcken, two at the top of the table, 2-2. Göteborg managed to get a draw against Hammarby, and Sirius lost at home to Halmstad 2-1. Kalmar beat Värnamo 1-0 away from home, and Norrköping lost at home to Elfsborg 2-1. What does that do to the table then? It has done this. Malmö are top. Elfsborg having a fantastic season so far, but they've got Malmö next. So we'll find out how good their season is, really. After 9 games, they're second. Häcken, current champions, are third. They've got Djurgården next. And let's have a look down the bottom. AIK still. Sirius and Varbergs. Shall we go to Belgium? Let's take a look at the Belgian matches. Westerlo beat Standard Liège 3-0. Gent could only draw with Cercle Bruges 2-2 at home. Club Bruges beat Antwerp 2-0. And Genk drew with Union Saint-Gilloise. We're in the playoff situations. Let's see how that's affected everything so far. So Antwerp are still top despite the loss, but on goal difference to Gilloise. And Genk can still catch them, but Bruges can't. In the second group, Gent are top, and looks like they are done and dusted in that position. They've got the playoff spot for the Conference League. And Standard Liège, I don't think I'm going to be able to catch them. But I can't remember how many games they'll have to play actually. Drop me a comment and let me know. Okay, let's go to Denmark, where they're also doing their playoff thing at the moment. So let's talk about Viborg beating Randers 2-0, Silkeborg beating Horsens 1-0, Midtjylland beating Aalborg 2-0, Odense beating Lyngby 4-0, Viborg managing a home draw with Brøndby 1-1, København beating Aarhus, important at the top of the table 4-3, and Nordsjælland beating Randers 3-1. Let's have a look. I think that means København are top. They've got more games to play though, so I'm not sure how many in total. They are only a point ahead, but that defeat has probably stopped Aarhus. Hoping for second, but they can still get third, and they've got a nice gap between them and fifth, excuse me, so it looks like European football for Aarhus next year, as well as Viborg. Midtjylland chasing that playoff spot to try and get, that'll be against Aarhus, I suspect. Shall we go to Turkey? Okie dokie, so these were the results from Turkey. So on Thursday, Fenerbahce managed to beat Trabzonspor 3-1, Kasım Pasha beat Istanbulspor 1-0, Galatasaray beat Sivasspor 2-0, Kayserispor lost at home to Alanyaspor 4-0, Ümraniyespor lost at home 2-1 to Ankara-Gücü, Adana Demirspor lost at home to Beşiktaş 4-1, lots of away wins, and Talyaspor drew at home to Istanbul Başakşehir 0-0. Gaziantep lost, oh yeah, these are the teams that can't play, so they just get an automatic 3-0. So the points are awarded to Giresunspor and Fenerbahce. I think these two are in the region of the earthquake, unfortunately, so they can't play their games. They're terrible. And Trabzonspor scored 4 yesterday to beat Fatih Karagümrük 4-1. So I think the title is more or less Galatasaray's. 5 points left. How many? 19 in the league. It's an odd number. That means it'll be what? 30s. There's still quite a few matches. Oh, because they had a pause. Yeah, they probably, and some have played more than others. There's still a little way to go. It's not over for Galatasaray yet. So Fenerbahce and Beşiktaş, both with 74 points, are chasing. And down the bottom, Gaziantep and Hatayspor. Okay. Shall we go to Russia? I was extremely happy with a result in Russia this week. See if you can guess which one it is. Okay, on Saturday, Lokomotiv beat Fakel 1-0. Zenit could only draw away to Orenburg 2-2. Dinamo won against Torpedo 3-0. Away from home, Ahmad continued their fantastic season, beating relegation Khimki 3-0. Then on Sunday, the results were Krylia Sovetov 3-0 against Ural. Spartak Moscow beat CSKA. Oh, look at that. 2-1. Quincy Promise getting 2 goals, one right at the death, and a red card for each side, which is pretty standard in this match. Krasnodar beat Rostov, who are falling down the table now 3-0, and Nizhny Novgorod beating Sochi 4-0. So no European football for Russia because they're still banned, unfortunately. I love the way that my beloved Spartak chose to play well in a season where they can't possibly qualify for the Champions League. So yeah, well done to you. Chasing second spot, but Zenit are the champions. Torpedo are down, Khimki down, and Krylia Sovetov are trying their best to stay out of the relegation spots here that go to playoff. Okay, that's Russia done. Let's look at Poland. So, Poland, Warta Poznan 1-1 with Past Gliwice. That was yesterday. And then over the weekend we had Friday, Zagłębie Lubin 2-0 winners against Stal Mielec. Korona Kielce lost at home to Lech 3-0. Then Jagiellonia Białystok drew 1-0 with Cracovia. Górnik Zabrze beat Pogoń 2-1. Lechia beat Legia 1-0. And Slask beat Miedź 4-2. Radomiak Radom beat Widzew Lodz 3-1. And very importantly, Wisła Płock lost at home to Raków Częstochowa 2-1, which is important for the following reason. They are definitely champions now, which is unbelievable. Well done to them. Legia in second, Lech in third, and at the bottom, Miedź, Legnica, Lechia and Wisła Płock. But Slask and Korona can still be caught. Where is next? Czechia. Okay, so in Czechia, on Saturday we had Slovakia draw with Sigma Olomouc 2-2, Sparta Praha beat Bohemians 2-1, and Slavia Praha beat Victoria 2-1. Baník Ostrava beat Teplice 2-1, Jablonec beat Brno 1-0, Pardubice lost at home to Zilín 2-1, and Hradec Králové lost at home to Slovan Liberec 4-0. Okay, so I already know without looking that two results have been very important there. So let's take a look at them together. Sparta Praha and Slavia Praha both top, but that win means that I think it is Sparta's to lose if they haven't won it already. I'm not sure how many games are left. And Victoria Pilsen way behind in third for the Conference League with Slovatsko, but Bohemians chasing. Okay, let's go to Switzerland. Results have been as follows. Winterthur lost at home to Servette 1-0. Luzern drew with St. Gallen 1-0. Sion lost at home to Young Boys 2-0. The championship is theirs. Bâle drew with Lugano 1-1 after falling out of Europe, unfortunately for them. Big moment for Swiss football if they managed to get the final. I felt it was really unfortunate for them. And Zurich beat Grasshopper 2-1. These are the results then in the table. And we can see Young Boys are going into the Champions League spots. But at the minute, so are Servette, as Bâle are down outside of Europe. Wow. I'm not sure they can catch up either. I didn't realise they were outside of Europe that far. So we might have some new faces in Europe. So, yeah, look, Champions League qualification for Servette at the second, unless Lugano can catch them. Good on you. Well done, guys. They're against Bâle next, so they could end Bâle's chances of Europe next season. Okay, shall we go to Scotland? And the results on Saturday and Sunday were Hearts beating Aberdeen 2-1, Celtic only drawing St Mirren 2-2, St Johnstone beating Killie 1-0, Livingston beating Dundee United 2-1, Motherwell beating Ross County 1-0, and Rangers beating Hibs 3-1. I don't think that changes much at the top of the table. Celtic are champions. Rangers are definitely in the Champions League playoffs. But Aberdeen just keeping ahead of Hearts in the Conference League spots. Someone who's into Scottish football tell me, is Aberdeen actually going to get Europa League football because of the cup final results or not? Okay, so in Ireland, lots of results. Let's go to Friday. Cork beat Sligo 1-0, Derry beat UCD 4-1, Dundalk only drew with Bohemians at home 2-0, Shelbourne lost at home to St Patrick's 1-0, And Shamrock lost at home to Droda 2-1. And that means early stage, well, mid-season I suppose. Derry is top, but Shamrock just behind. They'll be disappointed with that loss. They could have gone top. Or maybe they were top actually. And they've lost top spot. Bohemians in third. Down the bottom, UCD, and not looking like changing anytime soon. Okie dokie. So, who's next? It is Wales. I haven't missed anyone, have I? Oh yes, I have. Sorry, Northern Ireland. Are we finished? I think we might be finished. So, Larne are champions. Linfield have got into the Europa League and playoff. Oh, these are 4 for the Conference League playoffs, are they? Hang on, let's have a look. They're playoffs the second, perhaps. No, they've taken place. Calantoran have qualified for the Europa League by the looks of it. So they came third anyway, so it's probably justice. Look at that. Imagine they didn't win. Okay. For reals, over to Wales this time. Before we look at the championship in England. So TNS obviously champions. And then Connors Quay second. Let's have a look. Haverfordwest are the champions, so they of the mini tournament, so they get into the Conference League. Oh wow! And Haverfordwest were in the relegation group, and they won the competition against all those in the top group. Well, I suppose that does show that, you know, the confidence you get from winning against lower teams. That's really interesting, actually. I feel a bit bad for Penabont, though. Okay, let's look at England Championship. Oh yeah, that's right, we were in the playoffs. So Coventry beat Middlesbrough 1-0 and Luton managed to beat Sunderland 3-2. So Coventry-Luton, an unbelievable final. Who could have predicted that at the beginning of the season? Massive shout out to Sunderland, who were only just promoted, Coventry, who were only just promoted, Middlesbrough, who have been playing some lovely football, and Luton as well, who have gone massively above expectations. So, yeah, really looking forward to that final. Not caring about it in a way, because whoever wins it is going to be brilliant for them. As a Swansea fan also, I'm a bit gutted because I think that Swansea would have won that. But there we go. And now we're going to lose our manager and all our best players. So, yay. Okay, and we can quickly look at the EPL. Not the EPL, the League One. Because the playoffs here are Barnsley beating Bolton, Sheffield Wednesday beating Peterborough. So Sheffield Wednesday, Barnsley, in a battle of Yorkshire, are going to decide who gets up to the Championship next season. So many big teams in that league. Crazy. I'll just show you. So Plymouth, well done to them, and Ipswich back in the Championship. But Derby County missing out on the last day, as well as Portsmouth, are a massive team. Charlton, big team. So many big teams down there. Shall we just check on Ronaldo for a second? Who's playing today against Al-Shabaab, and they need to win because they are not going to win the championship if they continue. Oh yeah, okay. So, who did they play last time? Al-Tay, and they beat them 2-0, and Ronaldo scored a penalty. How did he do? 8-1. Oh, well done to him. Right, so let's head off to the Americas from the Middle East. Where are we going to go? Let's go to the MLS, which is a good few matches in now. And here are the results from, let's look at these ones. Sunday 21st of May. Are they all? Okay, I was confused. So many teams. Nashville beating Charlotte away from home 2-1. DC United winning at home to LA Galaxy 3-0. Cincinnati beating Columbus Crew 3-2. Inter Miami losing at home to Orlando in the Florida Derby 3-1. New York Red Bulls beating Montreal 2-1. Philly beating New England Revolution 3-0. Austin beating Toronto 1-0. Chicago drawing 3-3 with Atlanta. Dallas drawing at home with Houston Dynamo 1-1. Colorado losing at home to Real Salt Lake. St. Louis 4-0 winners over Sporting Kansas. LAFC 2-1 winners over San Jose Earthquakes. Portland lost at home to Minnesota United 1-0, bit of a shocker. And Vancouver Whitecaps beating Seattle Sounders just over the border 2-0. So, let's have a look at how that sets us up in the Eastern in the Eastern Conference. Cincinnati is top by 5 points. Nashville second and New England third. Surprisingly, Atlanta down in fourth. Toronto are bottom. And in the Western, LAFC have got back to the summit. Last year's overall champions, of course. Seattle are in second, though. And St. Louis doing really well. Up in third. Down the bottom are, surprisingly, LA Galaxy. Wow, having a bad season. So I think this is the two combined, right, guys? Let me know in the comment section. I still get confused about the MLS. So I think overall Cincinnati are top, with LA, who were top of the other division, the Western, coming in second, but they have played a game fewer. Nashville have played a game more than both, 2 more than LA, and they are in third. Let's go to Mexico. So these are the current results, the latest results. Okay, Sunday, Monterrey beat Santos Laguna 2-0. America lost at home to Atlético de San Luis 2-1. Toluca beat Tigres, my little Tigres, 3-1. And then there have been loads of matches here. Is there like a playoff or something at the minute? Let's go through them anyway. Guadalajara beating Atlas 1-0. Tigres drawing with Monterrey 1-0. Club America beating Guadalajara away 1-0. Tigres beating Monterrey 1-0 away. And yeah, it looks like this was the semi-finals, though. Tigres have beaten Monterrey over 2 legs. Club America won there but lost at home to Guadalajara 3-1. So the final is going to be Tigres against Guadalajara. Can someone tell me what you win? Do you get into the Champions League for this, or is this just the Apertura? Is this the Apertura? We're in the Clausura now. Is this the end of the Clausura? So they played 17 games. I think this is like the end of the season in... Oh yeah, I suppose it would be the end of the season in Mexico. So it looks like Monterrey, who have finished first in the Clausura and second in the Apertura, are out, compared to Tigres, who finished 5th there and 7th there. They could win it. How strange. Can someone explain this? Interesting. Okay, that's Mexico. I'm super confused by that. Okay. Let's take a look then at Canada. And then we're going to look at Brazil. Okay, Canada not long started. Matches Forge drew with Vancouver 0-0. Wanderers lost at home to New York 3-0. Valor and Pacific drew 1-1, and Cavalry beat Atletico Ottawa 2-0. Which means their little league of 48 teams, Forge are top and Pacific are second currently, with Wanderers at the bottom after a terrible run. So we're looking at Brazil Serie A, only 7 games played so far, and the latest results were Saturday, Bahia drawing with Goiás 1-1. Beating Fortaleza 2-1. Botafogo beating Fluminense 1-0. Can't speak. Atlético Minas Gerais beating Coritiba 2-1. Bragantino beating Atlético Paranaense 2-0. Sao Paulo beating Vasco da Gama 4-2. Santos drawing at home with Palmeiras 0-0. Flamengo beating Corinthians 1-0. Grêmio beating Internacional 3-1, and Cruzeiro losing at home to Cuiabá 1-0. So early on in the table, let's have a look how that has affected things. Botafogo are now top, only 1 loss, unbeaten Palmeiras with 2 draws up against my team in Brazil, Atlético Mineiro, who are in 4th. Cruzeiro have dropped off after an early lead of the table, but Flamengo are coming back up after a really uninspiring start. 3 wins on the bounce, and they face each other soon. Down the bottom, Curitiba with just 2 points. Should we just very quickly check out Argentina just to see what's happening there? I don't want to leave them out. Okay, so last couple of results. On Saturday, Juniors lost at home to Boca Juniors, Argentinos Juniors 1-0. Racing and Vélez was called off. San Lorenzo beating Instituto 2-0. Lanús beating Newell's 1-0. Tigre drawing 0-0 with Atlético Tucumán. Belgrano 1-0 with Talleres. Colón 1-0 with Barracas Central. Sarmiento 0-0 with Huracán. And then yesterday, River beating Atlético Platense 2-1. And the table, River atop, San Lorenzo 2nd, Talleres 3rd, Boca down in 10th. Ouch. They haven't lost many games though. I think that loss was the one to River, yeah, where I think they had like 4 players sent off, each of them. Crazy match. Okay, that's a long video. I hope you're fast asleep. If you're not, then click like for me to make this video travel as far as possible, and invite some new people to subscribe. If you're one of those new people, click subscribe, and everyone's welcome to drop a comment. You know I always read and respond to everyone, so thanks so much for all your support, and I'll see you again really soon. Take care, everyone. End of the season in Europe coming really soon. Bye 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 bye.